Time for a bit of Formula One. We're fast approaching one of the best weekends of the sporting calendar in the UK, the British Grand Prix from Silverstone. First practice gets underway today with qualifying tomorrow, and the race getting underway at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Ahead of all, things are looking rather rosy for McLaren, aren't they? They have a 210-point lead at the top of the Constructors' Championship, with Piastri and Norris first and second in the race for the driver's title, with Max Verstappen a further 46 points back. But McLaren CEO Zak Brown, he joined us live in the studio yesterday. He told us that the gap to Max is not enough to be comfortable with
Amazing. That points gap to Max is not quite big enough, so we got to keep working.
Yeah, I really admire him. I know he can be reckless, but what a driver.
He didn't win 4 championships by accident. No. So, and I would even say, George is not far behind him, and Mercedes is strong, and Charles. So I still think there's 5 horses in this drivers' championship race. Yeah, I mean, it's the gap's growing. It's going in the right direction, but a lot of racing still to go.
And there you go, McLaren's Zak Brown there, right. I enjoyed talking to him as well. Let's build up to what should be an amazing weekend with a man who knows a thing or two about how to get top the podium at Silverstone. A very, very good morning to two-time winner there, David Coulthard. David, morning.
Morning, David.
Good morning from a beautiful Silverstone. The noise has just stopped from the free cars, so hopefully you can hear me.
David, we can hear you loud and clear now. One question I did put to Zach was, look, the McLaren are doing so well, got the fastest car. The weather could be funny this weekend, couldn't it? We're expecting showers, and I suddenly thought of Max. I even thought of Lewis. Does this open things up a little bit if the weather does come down heavy?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. When you have sort of changeable British summer weather, then that can bring some cars that haven't been as competitive in full dry into play. And you're right, highlighting Max, Lewis as well. Lewis has been improving his performances at Ferrari after, I'd say, a fairly quiet start since he got that sprint victory in China. And of course, even if it doesn't rain, Silverstone, big open airfield. When I was riding my little bike over from the campsite this morning, I was into a headwind. Why do I always seem to cycle into a headwind?
A campsite? Surely you're in a 6-star hotel, David.
No, I go for the full camping experience. Okay, it's a luxury American motorhome, but when I first came here, when I was 14, I was in a tent, and that is on a hot day. Anyone who remembers going camping in a tent is not a place to be.
David, just so all the drivers, they go around tracks all around the world. But is this so special to a lot of the drivers going to the British Grand Prix? Something different, the crowd, everything about it is something different for the drivers. And is this one of their best races they can be involved in?
Yeah, no question. And not just because we're Brits, but this is the sort of Wimbledon of the tennis year. Of the big slams, that's the one they want to win. Silverstone's a festival. It's always been this sort of music festival. The drivers, as I say, a lot of them stay on site in their motorhomes or around the Northamptonshire countryside. So it is a special Grand Prix, one that you get this beautiful gold trophy that is you have to give back, but it's been handed down through the greats over the last 75 years. So it is definitely the one they want to win.
David, Silverstone as a track. Look, we know the McLaren's a special car. Will it suit McLaren, this track, Silverstone, or does it favour someone else?
No, it'll definitely be in the right window for McLaren. They've got a car that performs across all speeds. This is a high-speed circuit with a couple of notable slower sections. So, yeah, I expect this to be McLaren setting the pace. But in motor racing, like in many sports events, you always get the odd occasional upset. So if you get the wind in the right direction and suddenly a car comes alive and a driver's got confidence, then they could be challenged. But I think all eyes are on Lando and Oscar. They're sort of trading weekends of performance, aren't they? Last weekend in Austria, Lando definitely had the upper hand, but prior to that, Oscar's been pretty handy. So It's going to be interesting to watch that tension build. Now we're at the midway point of the season.
David, I'm sure you've got to keep everybody happy when you got teams and whatever. And Lando and Oscar, if one had to leave, who would you pick as your number one?
Well, that's a very good question. They're both number ones right now, but Oscar's definitely the one that's improved the most because last year Lando had, I think, about a tenth and a bit in qualifying over Oscar, and Oscar's come out of the blocks this year. If it was, an 11-race World Championship, Oscar's in the lead. He's won the championship, so you cannot deny the results as they sit. Lando is the more experienced guy. He's the better known. He's obviously, got his own grandstand here with several thousand people paying to put their bums on his seat. So, he would be let's say, the more marketable world champion for McLaren right now. But, this isn't show friends, this is show business. So Oscar's earned the right to be leading this championship.
Yeah, David, just I'll finish with very sad the passing of Eddie Jordan. Really, I knew when we last interviewed Eddie on talkSPORT that he was struggling a bit, but I didn't realise how bad. So I'm very, very sorry when that sad news came through.
Absolutely. I remember being on the show with Eddie, and he absolutely loved it. He was larger than life. He's, of course, left a huge hole in the whole motorsports community, and we're going to be doing a proper send-off EJ style on Monday in London.
Yeah.
And we're expecting, certainly there's several hundred people on the invite list, and it's not going to be a traditional remembrance event because he was not a traditional guy, as you know. So it all passed very quickly in the end. And yeah, he's, the old expression about breaking the mold is truly the case for EJ, because he was the only man I know that could shout abuse at Bernie Ecclestone or Toto Wolff or whoever, and they just smiled and took it. Anyone else would have had him removed.
David, have a great weekend. Thank you, and good luck Monday as well.
Thanks, David.
Thank you very much.
David Coulthard there live from Silverstone. Yeah.
Oh, we used to see him down at Cheltenham, and he's always fantastic.
I've got a great picture on my phone. There's about 20 pints of Guinness, and Eddie's looking at them going, wow, are we going to drink all these?
Yeah, no, he was a real good character. Always come up to you. He was very, very friendly, wasn't he? But Cheltenham, that's where I knew him from.
Yeah,
when we've had a few drinks with him.
And they two were great together, David and Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really well.
Yeah.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.